All right, welcome back, True Seeker. It's episode 5 of the Count on It podcast. Again, we've recently rebranded and created a new podcast, and I have created a new YouTube channel. The live streaming privilege has still not been enabled, but once it is, I will start the stream on that channel. And the channel is Count on It with an exclamation point. If you search on YouTube by channel, you should find it. And I made the avatar my face so people recognize it. Um, we still haven't reached 1,000 subs yet on that channel either. I'm thinking maybe when we get to 1,000 subs, the live streaming will get enabled. But yeah, I've also just been debating on if I'm going about this the wrong way. YouTube. YouTube has made it so that you need to have a niche. And I don't know when everyone started calling this word niche. YouTube is such a copycat platform. Everybody is saying you got to have a niche, a niche. And I never heard this word niche in my life. It was always a niche. Find your niche. Everyone just copies each other on YouTube. So now somebody said niche, so now everybody's saying niche, like we're eating quiche. But the word was always niche. And anyway, it is true. This is what YouTube has done to their platform. They want people to specialize in a topic. They want you to just keep doing the topic. I was watching this guy say, your channel, it can't just be about dance. It needs to specify in a form of dance, like salsa dance. Your channel should be about salsa dancing, not just a vague topic like dance. And that's why you see a lot of these big YouTubers, they're doing the same topic every day. They're doing the same show every day with the same topic. Um, to me, this is really lame. This is really lame that this is what they want people to do. Just stick to one thing. Uh, it's a shame that they took away the subscribers, having subscribers and broadcasting your videos to your subscriber base. If you've noticed how YouTube works, if you look up how to change, or change a light bulb, how to repair this on your car, how to get plants to grow on your windowsill, you'll notice that your whole feed becomes that indoor plant growing. You'll just have 1,000 videos of that in your feed. This is what YouTube is now doing. They see you search for something, and then they just give you 1,000,000 more of those videos. So if you like a channel that's about growing plants indoors, and that person just makes their videos every day about growing plants indoors, that could actually do very well for that channel if their whole channel's about that. Um, I heard this same YouTube guy talking about how they want people to have a niche. He said, like raw milk's a big topic right now. People are really getting into raw milk. And for example, if you live in Oregon State, raw milk is illegal. You could make a channel about raw milk being illegal in Oregon and focus. I was like, God, how do you have a channel just talking about raw milk in Oregon being illegal? Are these people insane? But this is what they want. And in that same broadcast, he specifically spoke about how if you're trying to keep up with the news and you're covering a diversity of news stories, he says that's really not going to work. You're really going to have to grind to get any kind of viewership. And again, I think they've done this on purpose because they don't want people who focus on the news and debunking the news and having a counter opinion to the authorities, which are the news. It is quite annoying. So I thought, okay, if we want to grow this work and stick to a singular topic, what would be some reasonable choices that would be effective? And with Donald Trump being the cult leader that he is, I was thinking maybe it would be worth launching a channel where it's just all about exposing Donald Trump every day, but also making it clear that it's not a partisan channel. It's not like we're stumping for the Democrats. Another thing is sports, but they've for people who are new here, I had one channel that lasted for about 4 years before it was deleted for the first time. That was back in 2017. I was deleted for the first time June 28, 2017. And it was just Zachary K. Hubbard. It was my name. And that channel had really taken off in 2016 and was rapidly growing in 2017 and getting a lot of big views constantly in 2017 until it was deleted in the middle of the year. And the one thing I did notice, though, that I could tell YouTube really didn't like was when I exposed their sports, because what would always happen if I had a video that got a ton of views and a ton of likes exposing sports, always, without fail, a bunch of subscribers would fall off the next day. It would always drop between 100 and more subscribers. And then the channel would not grow for upwards of a week. It would just stay parked at its subscriber count. And it's like, okay, there's no way that I'm not getting subscribers when I'm having a video that has hundreds of thousands of views, tons of likes, tons of comments, all this positive feedback, and the channel shrunk and won't grow at all. It was always real obvious to me that YouTube did not like exposing the sports. And it would make sense to me because we'd been exposing, for example, the NBA Finals and what would be the advertising all over YouTube's page. Tune into ABC Game 5 at this time. So it's like, okay, here's my channel exposing how the finals are rigged, getting good exposure for it. But then the channel's being punished. It starts to make sense because YouTube is taking money from the NBA and ABC to advertise their league in this channel. And is it good for business to have somebody getting a bunch of views and, saying, listen, you're essentially watching the WWE on a basketball court, which is 1,000,000% factual. And again, just recently, Gematria Effect Sports. When I decided to split up my channels to Gematria Effect News and Gematria Effect Sports, that was in July of 2018, and that was after 15 or 16 channels have been deleted. Gematria Effect Sports has existed to this day. That channel has never been taken down. It's been suspended several times. There's been periods where it's been suspended. But again, for now over 2 years, it happened in March 2023 during the March Madness tournament. Again, just exposing how the games are rigged at the collegiate level. Overnight, 6,000 subs just taken from the channel, from 95,000 and change down to 89,000 and change. That channel's been kept at 89,000 subs since March of 2023. And now as the NBA playoffs get underway, I get an email from YouTube saying that I've lost live streaming privileges on Gematria Effect Sports. I can no longer make videos longer than 15 minutes. And I lost the ability to post links on the channel, which means I can't even link my Patreon. And that's how I've used Gematria Effect Sports, even though the channel's been neutered for years. Just done short videos, quick congrats to the winners, give people a quick 1-minute synopsis of the key points in the rig game and the outcome, and then a link to subscribe to Patreon. And I can't even do that anymore. I can't even drop a link from my own Patreon. But I was thinking, what has brought the most loyal people to this work is, again, people who found out about the games being rigged and learning how to take advantage of it and padding their pockets. I was almost debating if we should try the sports thing again, even though I know YouTube hates it, and maybe do a nightly recap show, an hour and a half stream Monday through Friday, recapping the rigged games, the biggest rigged highlights of the day, the biggest accomplishments from our community. Again, every day I put out great calls for our community, and we have great callers. For people who don't know, I do a sports podcast essentially every day on Patreon, and we have some great people on there. And the downside of doing it on Patreon, which I have since September of 2018, is, the people who don't know about this work, they're missing out on a lot. They're missing out on a lot of great calls and awesome futures and predictions because they're not participating on the Patreon, so they don't know what's going on there. Maybe just doing a free nightly show. That's again, historically, that's what draws in the loyal people, because people find the value in the knowledge because then they can use it that actually, in a way, brings something lucrative to their life. Whereas covering the news, some people do appreciate it, but hardly anyone. I mean, you guys see it day after day. I'm on here doing a 2-hour stream, breaking things down, mind-blowing information, stuff you think that would change the world overnight. And by the end of the stream, we're lucky if $5 in super chats came in. And meanwhile, the sports work, it definitely pays the bills. It brings in people that want to financially support, and it helps people gain financially as well. I'm almost wondering, even though I know YouTube hates it, if that's actually what we should do, because if we just stick to sports like a niche, not a niche, God, I'm telling you, man, I had never heard anybody say that word as niche in my life until all of a sudden on YouTube, where everybody's talking about that. Yeah, the way to grow on YouTube now is just have a niche. Everybody just copies each other. how to grow on YouTube. You just click on everyone's video. Have a niche. Like, have these people even ever heard this word before they watched a YouTube video saying the way to grow your channel? Guys, it's so bad how everyone's copycats. Never heard niche in my life until all of a sudden looking into this YouTube grow your content. But it is true, though, what they're trying to say, because the people at YouTube are putting out videos saying that's exactly what they want from their content creators, to stick to a topic. So I'm almost thinking if I do 2 podcasts, perhaps one should be a nightly sports recap. I know people will be into that. And by the way, just the biggest streams I've ever had, after Super Bowl 55, we had nearly 10,000 people on the live stream. And remember what happened, though? I got majorly punished. That stream got abruptly ended. And the reason so many people are watching is because I put it out for free that year before the season began, why Brady was going to be the first quarterback to win the Super Bowl in his own stadium and why he was going to beat the Chiefs. We gave people that during the middle of the George Floyd riots in June. But yeah, a lot of people were following that. And then when it happened, they were in there. And we had a huge amount of people in that live stream. And then all of a sudden, YouTube shut it down. And I literally could not get back on YouTube for over 48 hours. It just would not let me log into my account. I was like, I didn't get struck or anything. I just could not get onto YouTube. It would not load. It would not let me in. It was some kind of weird censorship. But 48 hours after Super Bowl 55, could not get on YouTube. And again, we were in, and who knows how many people are really watching too. There might have been more than 10,000 people watching that stream. That's just what it was showing in their stats. But also, X. Recently, my work was doing really well on the X live streaming, but of course, I got deleted on X on January 27th. The last live stream I did on there was talking about the conference championships for the NFL, and we had upwards of 5,000 people on the X stream. Not bad. Not bad at all. I think the YouTube stream had like 250 people watching, whereas on X, it was at about 5,000. And keep in mind, back when live streaming came out on YouTube, every stream I did, didn't matter how lame the topic was, had at least 2,000 people in the stream. So, again, in terms of what we do now in numbers, it's awful. Right now, as I look at this stream, we have 183 people watching, it says. That would be less than a tenth of what we would have had in 2018 stream. I wasn't able to live stream until 2018. I remember that's when I got my live streaming privilege. Or I didn't know how to go about it, but I started live streaming in 2018 for the first time. So I am thinking about maybe making Count on It actually a nightly sports recap. It would fit there too, because we're just counting how the games are rigged, exposing how the games are rigged, showing how it's all numbers, counting. Because that could be very niche, just sticking to the topic of sports. I know YouTube hates that topic, but at the same time, it's showing that it can still generate numbers despite how much they don't like it. And I was also thinking about, in terms of the number games podcast which we're doing, to make every day about Trump, something about Trump in the title, but then also cover some of the other news stories, but just so it's consistently Trump. It's consistently a Trump bashing channel, but also hopefully to bait people in from both sides of the aisle so that they can see how it's rigged on both sides, but focus on Trump since he's the center of attention. So I'm going to take some calls here in a second, but again, just Trump is such an easy, low-hanging fruit to just beat on every day and expose. And case in point, just play a news story that we covered, the first time around when he was running for office. Let's listen to what a creep Trump is real quick, just for a little respite here, and then we'll start taking some calls.
Every right to be proud of his daughter. Ivanka is a successful, Ivy League educated businesswoman, author, and mother. She's now helping run his campaign and introduced her father at the Republican convention. Yet at times, his fatherly praise is downright cringeworthy, like on The View in 2006.
I said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Stop it! Oh, it's so weird. Stop it. You know what? You are sick.
Far from protecting his daughter from being talked about as a sex object, he has encouraged it multiple times. on Howard Stern's radio show in 2004 and then again in 2006.
By the way, your daughter,
She's beautiful.
can I say this? A piece of ass.
Yeah.
She looks more voluptuous than ever.
She's actually always been very voluptuous. She's tall. She's almost 6 feet tall.
In May, Ivanka described herself as a feminist while defending her father on CBS after a scathing New York Times article about his alleged negative treatment of women.
Is there unending commentary on the female form?
No. I've known my father, obviously, my whole life, and he has total respect for women.
Please welcome the lovely Ivanka Trump.
Still, even Ivanka seemed confused when talk show host Wendy Williams asked about things the two have in common.
What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
Donald Trump has always been proud of his daughter.
I'd call collect to his office. I was probably, 10 years old. He would pick up the phone every single time, and he'd put me on speakerphone. Wouldn't be a long conversation. He'd introduce me to whoever was in his office.
And he was front row when Ivanka took to the catwalk during her short-lived career as a fashion model. Still, Donald Trump repeatedly points out how hot his daughter is, saying last year in a Rolling Stone article, "Yeah, she's really something, and what a beauty, that one. If I weren't happily married and, her father."
My daughter, Ivanka.
Yeah.
She's 6 feet tall. She's got the best body.
Yeah, she's hot.
Ivanka continues to defend her father and has said he is not sexist. Earlier, her Twitter account showed a little heart liking an article about her.
I mean, there's so many clips of this guy. There's one part where he's talking about how nice her breasts are. I mean, who talks about their daughter like this? And again, then there's the clip that Entertainment Tonight captured over a decade ago of him talking to a little 10-year-old girl on his escalator that he came down when he announced he was running. Again, a little girl, and saying in 10 years he's going to be dating her. And the ET article says that the girl was 10 years old. So to a 10-year-old, he says, I'm going to be dating that 10-year-old in 10 years.
Thursday night. You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
She got that little kid voice. Yeah, I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. I mean, yeah. Just so many things wrong with Trump. But again, I mean, every day is the spectacle. Every day you can expose what a puppet on strings he is. We might just have to play the YouTube game. We got to figure out how to get this work out there. I hate to stick to just one topic, but like I said, if we made Trump the focus each day and then brought in the rest of the news behind it, because again, I've always wanted my channel to be the diversity of topics and the main topic, never be clickbait, but just what the story's about. But the reality is, again, I mean, look at the views on this channel. It's like nobody's seeing any of these videos. 1,000 views, 1,000 views, 1,000 views. That's not changing anything. We can't just keep getting 1,000 views on super important topics. That is not going to change anything. But if we can figure out a way to grow this thing back up to where we're getting hundreds of thousands of views per stream, but yeah, I do dislike the fact that that YouTube's done this, made it so that you just have to stick to a topic. They want highly, it's like what they're doing is they're turning everybody into the factory worker. You know, you sit there and you do this widget. You do there and you do this widget. You work at McDonald's on the line and you flip the burgers. You work at McDonald's and every time you just dunk the French fries in the oil. This is what they want from their YouTube creators. You just do one thing. By the way, I did see in the chat, shout out to Mason. I was actually just thinking about you if your daughter been born. Congrats on your little girl, born on the magical 26th, huh? 26th. Got the same birthday as Melania Trump now, but yeah, very cool. Congrats to you, Mason. Happy to hear that. Happy to hear that. And thank you, LaDonna. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the letters you send to the P.O. Box. And shout out to Run Your Pockets as well. Indeed. Run Your Pockets, great member of the community, part of our Patreon community. But yeah, what do you think? Should we go more in on the sports? I've been doing mostly sports just for the Patreon, but I realized maybe I need to get back to doing more public sports stuff because that's actually what brings people in. For every one person that cares about the news, I'd say 5 actually care about the sports. And the thing is, a lot of these people who come in through the sports, they end up realizing that this knowledge is bigger than sports. There's a lot of people in this community that could tell you the same story. They came in through learning about rigged sports, and now they see how the game, in terms of like news and politics, is totally rigged. Again, it seems like if we want to be more successful, we got to play the game the way they've set it up. But I also don't want the message to get watered down or super redundant. But yeah, what do you think about these ideas I'm throwing out there? Number games to become focused on dunking on Trump every day with the other news behind it. And then the Count On It podcast, nightly recap of the sports. I could probably do an hour stream a night, Monday through Friday. Even though I'm super exhausted, I'm also super motivated to get this work out there and recognized again, because every time I do look at Sweet Girl, I think, what kind of world is she growing up in? I mean, this place gets worse by the day. This is the message. This is the knowledge that if we get out to the masses, it could actually change the world. Shout out to Vandera. Appreciate that, Vandera. I'm going to open up the phone line. The number's on the bottom of the screen, 509-560-4982. This is going to be mostly a caller-driven stream. What do you guys think about what I'm saying? Is this a good idea for the 2 podcasts? It fits what YouTube wants. Channels dedicated to a topic. One is news. One is sports. Again, the news one is centered on Trump, but covers the other news of the day behind it. Let's go out to 802. 802, you're on. 802? Hello? Uh-oh. Are we back to this? 802, can you hear me? Try something else out. We're having some kind of glitch. 802, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Zach.
Okay, I had to switch it up. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just wondering, for the combo contest, I had 350 points, and dude with 322 points got 3rd place. So
and you were in the stream this morning when I addressed that, and there was a mistake. Neither of you guys made the top 3 because I missed the guy who actually got 1st place.
Oh, that's my bad. I was in the stream. I was sleeping. That's my bad.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for letting me know.
All right. Yeah, take care. All right. We need better phone calls. That doesn't even need to be called into the stream. 778. What's up, 778?
Hello?
Yeah, what's up?
Hi, I was just wondering, do you think Pierre Poilievre or Mark Carney is going to win the Canadian election?
I haven't even looked into it.
Oh, if you do, please look into it. Us Canadians are really wondering.
But since you called in from Canada, I'll give you something tonight. The big story's out of Vancouver, BC. I'm sure you heard about it. Hello?
Oh, the driving incident?
Right.
The driving incident?
Right.
So what about it?
Well, just again, since you called in from Canada, they put out the name of the guy who supposedly drove the car into the crowd. His name is Kaiji Adam Lowe. And that name equals 41. Just like Sim equals 41. And the mayor of Vancouver is Sim, and he's the 41st mayor of Vancouver. And today just happens to be 41 days after Mark Carney's birthday. There's a few more things to it, but again, I was already, before they just recently put out the name of the driver, I was already looking at the 41 connection, and I was like, go figure. They put out the name of the driver, and it's also 41. I noticed that about a decade ago, there was a thing with Vancouver trash accidentally being sent to the Philippines. I don't know if that was a big story at Canada at the time, but I was just looking up what connections there was with the Philippines and Vancouver, and I saw that was a little controversial thing from the past. I got to do some more research on this, but Again, don't think it's an accident. That's 41 days after Carney's birthday and synced with the 41st Asian governor, or excuse me, mayor of Vancouver. I'll look into the election. When is your guys' election?
Tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow. Snap. Okay. Yeah, well, I guess I'll have to look into it very quickly. I'm not real familiar with your guys' political system. So Mark Carney just became the temporary leader of the party?
Yep, correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So he's Liberal Party. The guy who he's running against, is he also in the Liberal Party or the opposition?
No, the guy he's running against is the Conservative Party, the opposition.
Okay.
Pure Polyev.
Pierre Polyev. Okay. How's he spell his name? Pierre?
Pierre, Pierre.
I see it. Yeah, I see
and
it.
his last name,
I see it.
Pol.
Yeah, no, I see him. I got it. I got it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look at it. I was thinking it's interesting that it's interesting that Mark Carney's the 24th prime minister, because Canada equals 24, and we're in the 2024-25 NHL season, and Canada has not won the Stanley Cup since '93. I'm wondering when they're going to break this drought. But yeah, I'll give it a look before tomorrow. I didn't realize the election was that soon.
He was also wearing a 24 jersey for the Oilers. Yeah, Carney.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, no problem. You take care.
All right, bye.
That's it. I see that the Pierre Polyev, I see that the election tomorrow is exactly 47 weeks after his birthday. That's interesting. That is interesting. Exactly 47. You know, Donald Trump going to war with Canada, number 47. You have to do a little more research on this. I know Mark Carney's Jesuit educated like Trudeau. The opposition went to the University of Calgary. That is not a Jesuit school. Okay. I never really looked too much into Canadian politics, but it is a bit interesting with everything going on with Trump. Thank you, Roblanto, for your generosity. I appreciate that. All right. Says we got 201 people watching. Go figure. All right. If you guys want to phone in tonight, the number is on the screen. I was hoping we'd have more participants and get some feedback on what you guys have to say about these ideas. Do we make one stream sports and the other news? It's the 45th election in Canada. I see that the opposition is 45 years old. So 45 and 47, those are the Trump numbers, right? Isn't Canada fed up with the Liberal Party? Isn't Canada kind of disgusted with Trudeau and the politics of the Liberal Party? I do find this 45-47 thing quite intriguing. Hold on, I'm getting you on the right setting. All right, what's up, 510?
You good?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, I think you should do one. You should do both of them. That's how you got me hooked. I think I was on here after the 2016 finals, and then you're talking about the sports, and you're like, look, King James' birthday on the 19th, and and you're just hitting. And then again, when you called it the Cam Newton, Peyton Manning Super Bowl, you're talking sports publicly on the street, and that stuff was getting numbers. So, and even on a X before your account got banned, that was crazy. You had like 2,000, and you were just starting to finally get live on that space, but you already boom at 2,000 views. So I think it should just be one channel, the new channel, both of them, both topics, because I think a lot of eyes would resonate, especially just sports. Everyone cares about sports. But yeah, that's what I think, bro. And guy in the chat, what the fuck his name is? I mean, oh, you got headphones, so it don't matter. This dude, some weirdo clutch moves. I guess he's in the Patreon, bro. If you're in the Patreon and you hear my voice, you know I'm 510, bro. Like you making no damn sense. But thanks for taking my call, Zach. I think one channel, both topics.
All right, appreciate it. Yeah, it's really interesting. If they're going to put in the conservative, he'd become the 25th prime minister 47 weeks after his birthday at age 45. In Gematria, Trump equals 25 and 47. And of course, Trump was also number 45. So that is a very interesting alignment. Mike BC, I'm guessing Mike's in British Columbia. He says it will be the conservative. Well, it'd be very interesting in light of how well those numbers line up with Trump. And again, it just shows you really the same secret societies are running both nations. All right, again, the line is open if you guys want to share some feedback on this topic. Somebody says, I need a graphic designer. Yeah, that could be helpful. That could be helpful. The election, hold on. Hold on. Carney's birthday is March 16th. He has that John 3:16 birthday. If the election's tomorrow, that should be 43 days after his birthday. Yeah, because the car hit on Saturday night, 41 days after his birthday, like I was saying. Yeah, that means it is 322 days before his upcoming birthday. That is correct. Old 322. Same secret societies, same old numbers. Okay. Well, we're slow on the uptake on calls. Perhaps since we had somebody ask about the election, we can look a little bit more into it. 2025 election, does that give Canada its 25th prime minister? Let's see. It says the polls are tight. They got to keep everybody watching. News media's got to get their ratings. It's just like the sports games. They often keep them closer than they should be. Bottom dwellers hanging with the team at the top of the league somehow, some way. Announcers telling you the team didn't show up. They thought it was a freebie. It says Canada versus Trump is what this election's about. And I mean, just, man, come on. I mean, just anybody look it up. Measure from the conservative guy's birthday to the election. It's exactly 47 weeks on the nose, and he can become 25. Big numbers with the chump. Here's what it says. In March, this is the article from, let's see, this is from Politico. Canada versus Trump, how Monday's election will play out. Okay, they got it all figured out here. The U.S. president's tariffs, and don't forget that tariffs equals 47 as well. Tariffs and insults have altered alliances everywhere, with reverberations from Quebec to Alberta to Washington. In March, shortly after Ontario Premier Doug Ford decisively won re-election here, Canada Conservative Party leader Pierre, how do you say his name? Poilievre? I don't know how to say his name. We'll just call him Pierre P. P double. Grudgingly telephoned the leader of this country's most populous province. They're going P crazy. To grudgingly ask for advice from a conservative rival. Oh, now we got Canada calling in. What's up, 403?
Hey.
What's up?
What's up, Zach? How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. Yeah, so just decided to call in because, I'm obviously calling in from Canada. I've been, so basically, like, over the last couple of like months, I've been, like, because, like, I noticed, like, the numbers you brought up, like, 45, 47, like, apparently this election is the 45th Canadian. It's 2025, and, Paulie he's 45 years old, so, yeah.
Yeah,
He can
that's
become the
very simple,
25th.
right? 45-year-old in the 45th election, 47 weeks after his birthday, when Trump was number 45 and 47. And somebody pointed out in the chat, yeah, it's true. The election's 47 days before Trump's birthday.
Yeah. So basically, like, I think you like stated how, like, sports and, like, the news is like synced, right? So, like, basically, one thing um, because of the election, since 45 is like a big number, like the Oilers, it's currently their 45th season, and they were in the finals last year, and they lost to the Panthers. So I'm thinking this year, like, they could become, uh, you know, they could win the cup because, like, because of all the stuff, just like in Edmonton, like, Alberta might separate from Canada because of, like, the election, all this separatist, all this stuff going on. So it's pretty interesting for sure, like, what's happening. But one thing about Pierre Poilievre there is, like, if you enter his name in the Gamache calculator, it equals 223, which is the 48th prime number. Connection to Skull and Crossbones, and like you stated, how all these secret societies, they run the show at the end of the day. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Pierre Poilievre is like a Freemason. Same thing with, like, Mark Carney, everybody, because that's basically just how it is at the end of the day. I know his name equals, I think his name equals 178, if I'm not mistaken. And Stanley Cup final, because he could 178. But, yeah.
Okay. I appreciate all that additional information.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Yeah, you're welcome. You have a good night.
All right.
All right, take care.
Good night.
Yeah, it does look like it's a Trump tribute. So conservatives in both countries will somehow, Pierre, work out a deal with Trump in this massive 47, again, exactly 47 weeks after his birthday, 47 days before Trump's birthday. The license plate in my background, been there for years. What is 47? Again, big number to the Masons. Masonry's big in Canada as well. They study the 47th problem of Euclid. Words like government, authority, time, they all equal 47. And U.S. politics, Republican and Democrat equal 47, as does president and White House. Again, all roads lead to Rome. Caesar equates to 47. But yeah, something else. And just the fact that he can become the 25th prime minister in 2025. It's like how Trump equals 25, and so does felon, and Trump's the first felon president in 2025. A part of me is also humming and hawing about this guy having a June 3rd birthday, 6'3". Which reminds me of all the little Kennedy tributes going on. JFK in 63. This past week, you had the actress die, born in Dallas, dead at 63, 214 days before the JFK assassination anniversary, when JFK died in the 214. We got a call from unknown.
Can you hear me, Zach?
I can hear you.
Sports gematria fucking dominates you, you Jew motherfucker.
Well, I guess you're proving
yeah, he does.
that he
green,
doesn't.
Green, black.
Well, again, just showing the big balls
just like
on you.
Andrew Wilson, Paul Unslaved, and old Jim Bob dominates you, Jew boy.
Yeah, again, just senseless comments.
Simple troll.
Okay. He hung up on himself. I was gonna let him go his full gambit there. No, none of those people have dominated anything. They all humiliated themselves and proved themselves to be idiots, just like everybody does who tries to deny this knowledge, which is undeniable. So, and again, just the whole thing of everyone blaming everything on everybody who wears a small hat. Again, yours truly is not even Jewish. Again, I can physically prove that. I'd guess that guy who just called in is probably, in all likelihood, most of you guys have gotten the Old Testament treatment to your your genitalia. Most of you have. Again, that is a Jewish thing. Yours truly, I'm in my natural state, so nobody did any cutting over here. Anyway, yeah, leave it to the trolls to call from the unknown. And again, just to rep the guy with the little beta male voice who will never call into the stream. No courage. Total coward. But yeah, again, just in real time, I mean, a guy asked me to look into the election, and in 5 seconds of looking at it, we already see something that, imagine if the whole world got it. They'd be like, huh, that is kind of weird. Canada is up against number 47, and the Conservatives in the election exactly 47 weeks after his birthday, 47 days before Trump's birthday. Again, if you're hating on this knowledge, really, you're hating on yourself, because almost everybody is under the thumb of the cabal. And as long as that's the case, we'll all continue to feel the consequences. And you know what it looks like right now, especially in recent times. Cost of living's way up across the board. All kinds of BS in the world. And don't forget, we told you a decade ago, this is exactly what would be going on at this time. Called it in spades. What's up, 559?
Got a question for you real quick, Zach. Okay, now I understand everything you teach about the gematria and about the sports. Now, I'm going to ask a stupid question here to you, but I need clarity on this. So when it comes to these basketball games, I understand how they can fix the score in football, but when it comes to basketball, how exactly do they do that? I mean, is there a magnet in the ball, or are they purposely missing shots?
Welcome to the channel, bro. We've been talking about this for over a decade. Go back and watch the NBA advertising campaign from 15 years ago with David Blaine. Do you remember it? David Blaine, the magician. A huge advertising campaign that year. The advertising campaign was, is it magnets or magic? And again, like I've always pointed out, have you ever been to a Harlem Globetrotters game?
Yeah, I have.
They don't miss from beyond half court, do they?
Very strange.
Is it possible to never miss from beyond half court, no matter how good you are at basketball?
Here's the thing. Now, here's the thing about this, Zach. Can
we answer the question? Hold on. No, we're not going to here's the thing. Is it possible to never miss from beyond half court, no matter how good you are at basketball?
Anything's possible, but let me tell you something.
I'm already over the call. I'm already over the call. I'm sorry.
Hold on. Let me ask you something. I'm trying to get clarity. Everything you're saying, I believe. Now, let me explain to you really quick what I'm talking about. When I was in high school, I played against a McDonald's All-American, a guy that played for the Lakers, Jordan Farmar. I played against him in high school.
Okay.
When he came out in the warm-ups for the game, this guy in the 12th grade was shooting half-court shots. And I'm telling the truth. The guy shot the ball in the warm-ups probably about 50 or 60 times, and I'm going to tell you that guy missed maybe 4 times. I've seen that with my own eyes. Okay, now that's strange, man. You got guys that are that damn good at shooting the damn basketball. You know what I mean? That's why they're playing in that kind of.
Again, you're telling me stuff I already know. I went to school with Derek Ravio, who set the college free throw record, and he could shoot the lights out. Problem was he was built like a toothpick, and you could score on him all day because he couldn't play defense. But again, Derek Ravio, for people who forgot, was a star at Gonzaga. He probably could have played in the NBA. He played professionally in Europe for 8 years. He lit up North Carolina in Madison Square Garden on ESPN years ago. No, he's one of the best shooters that was ever in the NCAA. I know how well these guys can shoot, but again, you can't never miss from beyond half court. And you're also talking about guys shooting unobstructed with no defense on them. They use technology to ensure the outcomes. Listen.
Right.
Hold on. Just stop.
Just strange shit.
Listen. Right. What just happened? What stood out to you on the 113th day of the year about the record the Cavs set? Did you see it?
No, I didn't.
Again, people who have the knowledge do see it. What do I call the NBA? What's the number I assign to the NBA? I call it the what league?
I don't know.
You don't know anything about my work, do you? You don't know anything about my work, do you?
No, I just got on you. I just got on you this year, but I'm still playing catch up and understanding everything. So that's why I would ask some things.
Okay,
you think
so I'm going to answer the question.
Like, why are you
I'm going to answer the question.
What's the question?
You talk too much. You talk too much. I call it the 113.
I'm asking.
All right, I don't want to talk to this guy anymore. He talks too much. People annoy me, you guys. If you don't know anything about anything, and you don't know the NBA is rigged, and you don't know how it's rigged, which is obvious, they literally have done the advertising campaign. Shut up and listen. Do you hear how he just keeps talking? The reason you don't know what the league is called is because you don't listen. I call it the 113 league because they do 113 rituals almost every single day, and especially on the 113th day of the year, where we just saw the Cavs set a record with 11 threes. 11 threes on the 113th day of the year. The National Basketball Association equals 113. Some of its biggest stars' names equal 113, like Michael Jordan, like Kobe Bryant. Huge number, huge rituals all the time. Not to mention when the Cavs hit 11 threes, that's 33 points, and Cleveland equals 33. What's up, 505?
What's up? There's Zach.
Yeah, what's up? What's up, Dave? Shout out. This is Hot Hand Dave. He's had some of the greatest calls in the past year. He's been nailing scores, crazy predictions. He had Franz Wagner for the first bucket for the Magic on Adolph's birthday. Of course, they were going with the German. What's up, Dave?
He hit it again today against Boston on the 22 date.
Number 22, and Boston stayed on 22 losses for the year. Yeah.
Well, that 22, he hit the first basket.
Yeah.
Too bad I found out about it before, after the Patreon, but yeah. Mm-hmm. I sent you a picture. It was after the game started, though.
Well, hey, great observation as always, Dave.
All right. Well, I just want to let that guy know that called before that this stuff, yeah.
Yeah, he's not listening. He's talking right now. He doesn't even hear a word you're saying. His mouth keeps babbling. Blah, 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 blah. It's just like, dude, shut up, dude. How are you going to learn anything if you can't shut up?
Right? Just listen.
And just dumb, too. Just dumb. He won't answer the question. I'm not sure. Maybe Dave, come on, man. Logical question. Can you make a shot every time from beyond half court no matter how good you are?
No.
No. That's like, it's like to not answer that question is like going, hey, can a PGA golfer make a hole-in-one every time? Can a PGA golfer hit a hole-in-one every time? Can a PGA golfer chip in from the sand from 40 feet away every time? Everybody knows the answer to that question is no. This guy's like, well, I saw Jordan Farmer shoot 90% with no defense from almost half. It's like, dude, that's not the same thing.
Yeah, I used to play basketball my whole life, and I used to miss layups all the time. But I could rebound the shit out of the ball.
All right. You either got hops or you're tall, Dave.
My nickname out here was Chicano Rodman.
Okay, yeah, Dennis Rodman, man. Yeah.
Yeah, because we had a rebound. But I couldn't make baskets for shit, though, but I could rebound.
You could make a layup, but you could grab. All right, you're like Ben Wallace. Okay.
Yeah, I could make layups.
All right. All right. The guy who can't listen wants to call back in. Okay, I'm going to give him one more shot. All right, Dave.
Jack.
Yeah, you have a good night.
Bye.
All right, the man with no listening skills, round 2. Okay, what's up?
Okay, let me clarify something to you, big dog. I didn't hear the question clear enough while you kept asking it because this sounds kind of fucked up. But if you asked, is it possible for somebody to make a fucking shot 90% of the time from full court? No, that's not possible. Okay, I didn't say I was arguing with you. I said I believe what you're saying. I just wanted clarity about some shit. Okay, while you talking shit. And you faggots in this chat room is talking shit too. You wouldn't say that shit in my face. But I believe what you're saying is that I understand what the shit that you're teaching. And tell me I don't listen, man. I wouldn't call you if I wasn't trying to learn. Okay, I understand what you're teaching. Now, no, that's not possible for a motherfucker to make that many shots from that distance all the time. Yeah, the shit looks weird. Now, all I wanted to do was just get some clarity.
Okay,
all
so
right?
here's the assignment. Here's the assignment. Look up the technology that's been out for a long time. There's a lot of guys doing this, throwing basketballs off a helicopter. I'm sorry. I'm done with this guy. You're not calling back in, dude. I'm explaining something, you just start talking again? God, I'm sorry, man. Just some people are stupid. Dude, the reason we're getting mad and bashing you is because we all see the same problem. You can't shut up. You just keep talking. I'm telling you something to look up and you just start talking in the middle of the sentence. Dude, don't call into my show anymore. Don't call into my show. You want to learn something? You got to shut up. You got to learn how to shut up. God, if you don't know the answer to these simple questions, more proof that you need to shut up. If you call in and ask the question, and again, what was his excuse about why he couldn't hear? Everybody else heard. I can already imagine in his head, he's already thinking about what he's going to say before, he's even trying to listen. It's annoying. Here, for everybody else, look this up. This has been out for a long time. Look up the footage of these basketballs with the technology that are meant to go through the rim. They're dropping basketballs from 300 feet out of helicopters. They're throwing them off waterfalls. Again, look up this footage. This technology with the basketball guided through the rim's been out. What's up, 202?
Hey, what's going on with you, my man?
Yeah, what's up?
Not much. Hey, just to piggyback off of what you and Dave were talking about, it's a reason why if you go to basketball games and football, well, just sporting games, sporting events in general, but particularly basketball, if the ball goes into the crowd, you cannot take that. You cannot keep that ball. You got to give it right back. Just like in football, when it comes to like most field goals, I don't know why they want to keep that ball. But let's say if a quarterback were to throw a ball into the stand, just throwing it away, they can keep it. But when it comes to that field goal, they want that ball back.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So it's I don't. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I'm just trying to piggyback off of too. I mean, just my thing is too when people are asking you these questions, they can also look this stuff up.
Exactly. That's why it's like, dude, I mean, look it up. I've shown this 1,000 times. Yeah. The David Blaine advertisement from 15 years ago, is it magnets or magic? And figure it out anyway. It just seems common sense. I've been talking about magnets in the basketball for over a decade. So, no.
Exactly.
And then this guy in the chat who always shows up out of the woodwork, Dap Daddy, writes, "Come on, Zach, he was trying to learn, yo." Did it sound like he was trying to learn? Right when I just started explaining something to him, he just interrupt again to start talking about something. No, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
No. Dap Daddy, whenever you show up with your comments, I usually don't welcome your comments because they're dumb. He was trying to learn, yo. No, he couldn't shut the fuck up was the problem.
Another two things, man. Hey, I'm glad I went through that little drought, like the little Canada drought. I'm not winning the contest for quite a while. Just like the Canadian teams, they ever won 32, 33 years out, because Roe was outdoing me for 4 seconds. I was like, oh man, I gotta set my game up, man.
When Roe's magical moon phases are beat, you gotta switch up the batting stance. So
yeah, man. It was great to get back on the winning side, man. I was like, I was starting to doubt myself. Like, damn, man, what the hell is wrong with me?
Yeah, no, exactly. If Roe's beating you, that is a wake-up call. It is motivation. And again, Roe gets so hurt about me saying things like he's a bad student, but I say it because it's true. I mean, he calls in about how there's an 88 with the Knicks tonight, and I'm like, well, did you read? Roe never reads the notes. It's like there's an 88 anytime the Knicks are playing at home because of Madison Square Garden. He's like, I never heard you talk about Madison Square Garden in 88. It's like in the notes literally every time. Hey, bro, have you ever looked at my old website? I have posts about the New York Knicks and Madison Square Garden in 88 from 2014. That's 11 years ago. Anyway.
Yep. All right, Zach, man. I'm going to talk to you later, my man.
All right. Congrats on the win. You have a good night.
All right.
All right, take care.
All right, you too, man. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, if you guys don't know who Ro is, he's an active caller in my sports community. And I can never decide if he's a troll or not, because sometimes I really do think he is. He calls in and he tries to fade the greatest picks in the community. Like, that's not going to happen. It's like a plus 800 that we're confident about. Comes in, he's like, well, okay, yeah, that happened. But hey, what about the pick that I called in with last night that was negative 280? That came in too. It's like, oh yeah, negative 280. Nice hit. Plus 800 was the hit last night. For people who don't understand what that means is if you bet 100 on plus 800, you win 800. So you had 100, now you have $900. If you bet 100 on negative 280, you make 28 bucks. So yeah, I have a guy in the community who'd be like that. He'd be like, yeah, I did call in and fade the plus 800 that came in, but I was right about that negative 280. That hit. It's like, okay, dude, are you serious? He's like that last caller a minute ago. He's like Dab Daddy in the chat. Come on, bro. He was trying to learn. Well, to learn, you got to shut the fuck up. That was something he wasn't capable of. Does anybody else want to call in tonight? Does anybody else want to call in tonight? If you do, please have the ability to listen if you're going to ask a question. All right. If we don't have any more callers, we can keep this stream extra short. It looks like you guys are indifferent about the idea, but here, you know what I'm going to look up real quick? I'm going to play the audio of Lamar Jackson talking about a field goal that seemed impossible. And again, if you pay attention to the NFL, they're definitely using technology in the field goal kicks, because you're seeing balls bend 3 different ways before they end up in the uprights in the last decade or so, something that used to not happen. And there is commentary by Lamar Jackson, the Ravens quarterback. Remember, Lamar Jackson had the same birthday as Muhammad Ali when he was in college, and then when he went to the NFL, it shifted by 10 days. Lamar Jackson, the 19-year-old phenom after Muhammad Ali died, and they gave him the 19-mile funeral procession. Again, Muhammad Ali's from Louisville, where he went to college. The Quran code from 68 says the Quran's based on 19. Let me see if I can find this clip. I'll play it. Let me see. It's funny. The only clip of it coming up anymore is from my own channel. Here, I'm gonna play it real quick. Listen.
If you host a vacation rental.
Oh, hold on. We got a phone call first, and then we'll play this Lamar Jackson clip about this crazy field goal. 719. 719.
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Yeah, what's
Eugene
up?
Flip Flop Topics.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, here's an idea. Maybe. For the blind people, maybe each day there's a significant number, right? And whatever news comes about, maybe you got to hit them with it validated. Whatever happened that day, hit them with the validation on the past story that happened. You feel me?
Give me an
To
example.
get a comparison, so you could. Well, I mean, not sure. I'm not sure. Just whatever story happened that day, just give them a validation of what happened in the previous day with the same numbers. You know what I mean? So you could so that person could validate it and say, okay, wow.
Like show how Cleveland and
sense.
78's hitting every weekend in with the Cleveland baseball team. Like how Cleveland equals 78, and every weekend 78's cashing in the Cleveland Guardians games. And just like how Deion Sanders' son just got drafted 78 days after his birthday. And how his name equals Cleveland Browns forwards and backwards, and was the 144th pick, and his daddy's born on the day, leaving 144 days left in the year. You mean like that?
Yeah, so to speak, but on news also, but not just on sports, but on news also. You know what I mean?
Oh,
But,
well, I like
just,
how I've gone over the
insight.
million Trump 47 rituals he's done since he came into office.
Yeah, you're right. That was a thought.
Okay. Yeah, and here's another one. Now they got the Canada versus Trump election 47 days from Trump's birthday and 47 weeks after the Conservative Party guy who's running his birthday. I mean, how perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. Yeah. No.
Hey, do what you're doing, man. Appreciate it.
Well, I agree with your sentiment. Yeah, I try to be redundant with the numbers every day and show how repetitive
I know.
they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, man. It just I was just trying to, dump it down for the other people and shit. You know what I mean? Just on one topic, but that ain't gonna happen. If they don't want to learn, then hey, fuck them.
Indeed.
All good.
All right. Appreciate it. 719.
Okay.
Take care.
Hey, no problem.
All right. See you.
Bye.
All right. I'm playing this clip of Lamar Jackson. Since you don't have the visual, what you'll hear in his own words, but it's a field goal that just does this crazy slice to miss, and it changes the outcome of the game. And there's no wind. There's no wind because you can, if you watch football, the goalposts have flags up at the top so you can see which way the wind's blowing. There's no wind. The flags are all the way down, just laying against the pole. If you type in Lamar Jackson recaps missed field goal, Ravens versus Saints, it's actually going to pull up from my Gematria Effect Sports channel. This video got 14,000 views 4 years ago. It's not really great in terms of what we've done, but again, if I posted this video on Gematria Effect Sports today, I guarantee it wouldn't get more than 200 views. They've killed that channel.
I gotta say something. This going back to rookie year when we played y'all. When the game was about to get tied, right?
The first
it looked like something just do football.
Well, he's been
off the goal
uprights during the course of the game.
The extra point. The extra point. Bro, it's like I said, there got to be a replay.
Swing right there. That thing just sliced to the right.
Restart the game. From
something
you know how back in the days, man, like 2008, you used to have a little X, and you get to replay that play. Yeah. I'm like, bro, it was no win, bro.
Bro, that game was a war of attrition.
And as a kicker, you kind of know, right? If you hit the ball well, you shouldn't have that look on your face. So it looks like Justin Tucker really felt like he hit that ball the way he needed to hit it.
Yeah, and again, Justin Tucker is one of the best kickers in the league, especially at that time 4 years ago. Set the NFL record at one point for longest kick ever. I remember that one to this day because that was the last time I played fantasy football. And that field goal going through, it was a winner-take-all league. I would have been in first place if that field goal didn't go through. It cost me $2,500 at the time. Not that I lost a $2,500 bet, but that was the pot for our fantasy football league. It was like a $150 buy-in or something like that. But would have been first place if it wasn't for the Justin Tucker NFL record field goal from 60-some yards. But yeah, look up that clip because it's just impossible the way the ball slices, and it just game-changing outcome. You pay attention to the National Fix League, you'll see a lot more of these crazy ball movements, balls that start to bend out and then they slice back in. It's like, okay, what could possibly ever make a football move like that with no wind? And some of these things will happen inside stadiums. It's like, this is impossible. I don't know what these fans are looking at, not figuring out that they are literally using technology to ensure outcomes. And don't kid yourself. I think they're using it in every sport you can think of, including the PGA. You've seen some weird hole-in-one rituals. You remember Space Jam years ago with Michael Jordan where Bugs Bunny's under the green and he's got a magnet and he's helping drag the ball to the hole? Again, magnet technology, other kinds of technology. It's obvious that they're using something. So, all right. Again, if you guys got here late, I was talking about how YouTube, they say they want everybody in a niche. However, everybody on YouTube is now using the word niche. I don't know if I want to take this call. Every time it's off topic. Let's see if it's off topic completely like usual. Joey, are we calling in anywhere remotely near the topic tonight?
Yeah, I'm calling in to say I agree that I think you should have a sports, more free sports content because people do gravitate more towards the sports. So I don't think we should be taking our eye off the ball. But I had an observation in sports related today. Is that on topic?
Huh?
Is that on topic? Like, can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Talk
You're
about
on topic
the sport
tonight. Yeah.
So, the Yankees have a pitcher. He started today. His last name is Fried.
Yeah, he came over from the Braves.
Max Fried.
By the way, the Yankees were lock city
Right.
in Game 1 today. They became 9-5 at home. Blue Jays 95. They dropped Toronto to 5-9 away. Toronto Blue Jays 59. That was one of the strongest narratives of the day. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was a lock. And the Yankees became 16-11. And of course, the King James Bible published in 1611. But King James' birthday was June 19th. And Max Fried's full name in the Latin cipher, it's called now, Max Dorian Fried, it equals 619. And the Yankees became 16-11. Like the real King James is born on June 19th.
Okay, yeah.
But what's funny is his last name's pronounced Fried, and June 19th is Juneteenth, and that's when the final slaves were freed.
Right.
And his last name is Fried, and his full name equals 619, like Juneteenth.
Yeah.
And the final piece of this was that LeBron James, he came out and said a while ago that he's a Yankees fan. And so I find it funny that the game was, this Yankees game one, it was synced with LeBron. And just, that's basically all I have. So, but
all
just
right.
What are the odds that his last name would be Fried and his name equals 619 the day the slaves were freed? I mean, that's just top mockery. But thanks for taking my call, Zach, and peace.
All right. Later, Joey. See you, man. Okay. But yeah, again, we do go over the games every day before they're played on Patreon for anybody who wants that kind of information. And again, if you're smart and you're selective and you lock into the narratives that make the very most sense, again, the knowledge is lucrative. Some people are too greedy and they got to put 10 teams on a ticket every day and wonder why they don't win. It's like, how about just going for two best narratives each day? 3 top narratives each day. Bet you can win at least 5 days out of the week, and that adds up. But yeah, the games are scripted, no doubt. And the Lakers today, we thought take the Lakers at plus 4.5 on the 4-date numerology. LA's 4, that was a winning strategy. Lakers lost by 3 today, so if you had them at plus 4.5, they won. They won the bet. They didn't win the game. What do you want me to say about the Lakers? The same guy from last week. All right, yeah, if you guys have questions, there's a call-in number. I'm not trying to read the chat to get questions. If you got questions about the show, call on in. That's what the phone number's for. Where did our callers go that used to call in overwhelmingly every Wednesday night for TFR? Those people just went away now that we didn't do TFR? Somebody says, if someone had a powerful magnet on the sidelines, could they influence the game? Well, you'd have to look at the way the technology is. Something about how that ball's laced and how it's synced with that rim. Again, go on YouTube and watch the videos of people throwing basketballs out of helicopters and off 500-foot waterfalls and watching how it goes through the hoop with the technology. I don't know if it's a specific frequency from the ball to the rim, or Again, you can do more research on that. I haven't gone into that great of detail. I'm just pointing out that the technology exists. It's just like in football, you're seeing more and more amazing catches in recent years. And of course, they now have these super grip gloves, but you can literally buy, it's for sale. You can buy a football that has magnetic innards, and you can buy gloves that go with it and make amazing catches. So that's literally something you can buy right now. A football with magnetic technology that goes with the appropriate gloves that come with it. I swear the David Tyree helmet catch from years ago when the Giants beat the Patriots was a magnet, the way how it stuck to his helmet. So yeah, this stuff's kind of out there in plain sight if you would just look into it. There's been some crazy stuff with the puck in hockey. We've covered that in recent years past. The puck doing amazing things. There's a shot from a few years ago where the puck went off the back wall in hockey, bounced forward, or bounced back in front of the goal, and then forward again into the net. It's like, how does that happen? That seems definitely physically impossible. 832?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up, Zach?
Yeah, what's up?
I was calling. Nothing much. I was calling because I wanted to share a bit of my opinion. I do think as of right now, because I've been watching you since the Kobe death. Like, Kobe was like my favorite player, and I came across your video randomly. I just started watching it every day, and I was like, yeah, there's no way. I think it was when Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury fought, and you had called like the exact round or something that was gonna end it, and I was like, yeah, this guy's on to something, and I've just been watching it. But I do think as of right now, I could tell that they've been lowering your views. Like, they don't, before your videos used to come up on my feed. Like, now they don't even come up, or I don't get no notifications. I have to like go out my way to make sure I see it. So I do think have sports and the news all on one page, at least to get some traction going. But I was also thinking that I don't know if you're on Instagram, but like they do a lot of like little short clips on Instagram that I see where people are exposing things that if you were on there, the way you break things down, I feel like it could get shared a lot more. And I was also thinking, like, I don't know if there's anyone in the community. I'm also going to try myself to see if we could get like someone who's good at editing videos so they can help with those type of short clips, because I don't know if you may necessarily know how to do that or know somebody who knows how to do that. But I think getting on Instagram, some of the social media sites, because that's what everyone's living off at this point. Like, I'm a kind of younger guy. I grew up in the social media world, so I know that like that's what all my peers are on all the time. So being on those social media platforms and having those clips that are gonna spread that type of knowledge, that help out a lot.
Yeah, I like that advice. Again, what I was saying at the beginning of the stream is YouTube has also changed the way their platform works, and they want people to just specialize in one topic on a channel. They say if you have multiple topics, it confuses their algorithm, and they can't promote your videos as well. So effectively, one channel has to be dedicated to sports, and the other one has to be... Well, they even said that doing news and trying to keep up with the news is not a good idea because you're covering multiple topics. They want you to be very specific. And if you look, the channels that are doing the very best on YouTube right now, they literally do the same topic every day. And it's pretty lame that YouTube's done this. It's like, okay, I mean, just how about you can earn subscribers like back in the day and your subscribers actually got notified when you made a video? What's so wrong with that method? That seems like the most legit way to be. But yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, one channel has to be completely dedicated to sports, and then the other one, it can't just be news. I was saying it would have to be like every day I'm exposing Donald Trump, and the topic and the thumbnail's got to be about Trump. But then I could cover other news in the stream after I get through the Trump part. So that's how they want YouTube channels to be. They're calling it, they're using this word. Now I gotta ask you something. When you heard the word back in the day, like you gotta have did you hear it? You gotta have a niche, or did you hear that? Here it is. You gotta have a niche.
I would say niche.
Really?
Niche.
When I was coming up, it was always niche,
more-
but everyone's saying niche now. I'm just like, I don't know when the word became niche. It was always niche when I was younger. So anyway, but that's what everyone's saying, and that's what the YouTube people are saying too. They want highly specific, specified channels that stick to a topic.
But I feel like, I mean, I think that might be what they say, but I think when it comes to like channels that are exposing the bigger program or like just the people behind the scenes and everything, I think that to be honest, this is just my honest opinion. I don't know if it's right, but I think that no matter what y'all do, they're gonna try and diminish those channels.
Yeah,
like, even
no,
if
I agree.
You try
I
to,
agree. I completely agree.
You know,
I'm just thinking what gives the channel the best chance to reach people, because what they've done to my channels for the last 3 years is make sure they're not reaching anybody. So there's been no growth. It's like we're torching sports for 3 months straight, and there's no growth. That wouldn't have happened back in the day. The channel there would have been more people coming in each day, be getting bigger and bigger, but they've made it so that we're not reaching any new people. Nobody's hearing about it. The only people who are around are the people who've been around for years.
and that's what I know is true. Like when I first came across your channel, you had 100,000+ views on a lot of videos, like the LeBron video I came across, all these different videos. So I know that you're probably like somewhere on their board and they have like your name stuck up like this person's channel for sure. That's why I don't really think it's going to make, not to be negative, but just to be honest, like I don't know if it's going to really make a difference if you do that, because I feel like they have an eye on any channel you have, and when they see you on the screen and they have it focused on, boom, we're gonna stop this. That's why I was kind of saying some of the social media stuff, because it's harder to stop social media sharing, and everyone's on it. So I don't know. It was just a thought.
I don't disagree with anything you said, and like I was saying, obviously the people at the top have their eye on us, because Hollywood is literally making a movie about yours truly that comes out this summer, 3 days before my birthday, and we know it's about me because they're literally using my quote through the entire trailer. So, are you up on that?
Which is it? The Hymns movie?
Eddington. It has, you know, all the work I did on 56 in the time of the pandemic, right? How I showed all the 56 stuff.
Yeah.
If you listen to if you look up the movie Eddington, E is in elephant, D is in David, D is in David, Eddington. It's coming out July 18th. It's going to debut at Cannes here in May. But the entire trailer, if you listen, there's a clear quote at the beginning for like the first 5 or 6 seconds. But if you listen, that entire quote goes through the background of the trailer, and then they play other noise and audio over it, but you can hear the whole quotes running. At the 20-second mark, it's talking about all the 56s with the pandemic. It begins by talking about how in 1956, they opened that Wuhan lab, and Tom Hanks was born, and Bill Gates, all the stuff I was pointing out about everything in 56. But if you listen carefully, everything I kept saying is through the entire back of the trailer. And then at the 20-second mark in the trailer, you can hear it say, gematria is the ancient practice of coding numbers into words.
What?
Yeah. No, look it up, man. Here, I'll play the damn trailer right now for everybody who doesn't know this. But yeah, they're putting out this. What's crazy, though, is from the day the pandemic was declared, March 11th, to the day the movie comes out is 1,956 days later. In the beginning of the movie, he's talking about 1956.
Whoa.
Here, I'll play the trailer. I'll play the trailer once you get off, so everybody else who doesn't know this can hear this.
Okay, yeah.
And by the way,
that's what I've been thinking this whole time.
Did you see the other movie that Jordan Peele's putting out?
The Him movie, right? It's called like Him.
You got to sacrifice. You got to sacrifice people to be in the league.
Yeah.
And he's got a 47 jersey
the whole
on.
Time.
Come on, man, 47 jersey.
The whole time, I'm like, this, like, it's getting. I was like, that was crazy. Like, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, they obviously have they have a microscope on your channels and everything you're doing, because I've been following since the Kobe Bryant death, or if he really died, I don't know. But and I've been seeing like that time you had like another channel and it had all these older videos, and
they all had 100,000 plus views on them and everything. And I was also thinking, like, you should probably find a way to like save those videos somewhere, in a hard drive or something, so you can always re-upload them or something.
Yeah, I do have most of my videos backed up, but YouTube does something to some of my videos and does not let them get downloaded. Hey, man, I appreciate it. I got to take a call here. We got a longtime veteran phoning in, but I appreciate the call. Thank you.
No problem. No
All
problem.
right, you have a good night. All right, we got a Jeff Young sighting out here. We definitely got to get Jeff on the program. What's up, Jeff?
What's going on, brother?
How you doing, man?
Bloody well right, mate. Except I got to share your pain.
I'm listening.
I think I've been watching my own YouTube and Instagram, and I'm not the best poster. I don't post that often, and I'm not doing a ton of hashtags. I'm lazy on it. I got to practice guitar for this nonsense. If I was doing all it on social media, I'd never be playing guitar.
Right.
But I've noticed on both platforms, on YouTube and on Instagram, I can't get above 4,000 subs or followers, no matter what. And it'll get that. Probably about 6 months ago, I was right up to 4,000. I woke up the next day and like 800 followers were gone.
Yeah. Jeff,
and I know there's not that many bogus accounts that they're going to purge in one night. There's bogus accounts and sock puppet accounts, but there's not that many in one night.
You know what I think, Jeff? I think the
I'm
worst career decision you ever made, unfortunately, was supporting my work and getting the message out. I think everybody's been punished for sharing this knowledge. That's what I think.
And everything I did on my show, not just you, but all the other guests I had. I
Sure.
had the guy from the Department of Defense CIA whistleblower cat that brought down the Presidio Air Force Base pedophile ring. And that night they took my show off. Remember, I used to go on at 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
A very random time.
Right.
Never an even time. It didn't matter whether the days might have changed through the 11 years I did the show, but it was always 7-Eleven. And the week I had that guy on the show, my internet was fine all week. My internet was fine all day. My internet was fine an hour before the show, and at 7:10 it cut out.
Yep.
And the only way I was able to do my show that night, I ended up having to go over to my buddies. I had a buddy who's like a Harley cat, and I went over to his house with a different IP address, and I did the show and got the guy on.
Yep.
So I think I'm paying the price from all the truth spitting back on Music Without Boundaries. And I'm on a blacklist. If there's a list, I'm on it. And here's another scenario that happened, and I don't think this necessarily has to do with speaking truth to power. It's more any fellow musicians, especially if you do cover tunes out in the audience, pay heed to this. If you go on my YouTube, and please subscribe, let's put this to the test. Can I ever get above 4,000? Because I've toured too much. I've got too many fans. I mean, the Megadeth album I did in my 20s went platinum. That's over 1 million copies sold back then, right?
Right.
Plus all the stuff we've been doing recently with Kings of Thrash, all the touring, just toured in Europe a month, been to Australia twice, 2 U.S. tours, et cetera, and my followers are still that compressed. But here's another thing that happened to me. So everybody knows the Beatles song, Something in the Way She Moves, right?
I think that's one of their best songs, honestly. I like that song.
So I don't know if you've ever seen, but folks, please go to my YouTube and subscribe. The video's there. You can enjoy it. I did kind of a Hendrixy instrumental rendition of that. Like, what would it sound like if Hendrix sat in with the Beatles, right? So check it out. The week I posted that, and I have the screen cap to this day. It literally just came up in my memory, so I saved it down so I'd have it, because it's on an old hard drive that I don't have access to. for the first week I posted that video, and you can go look and check me right now. I had the screenshot. I had 16,000 plays on that tune. Within, I don't know how many days, 2, 3, 4 days, 16,000. I wake up and it was knocked down to 6,000. And to this day, however many years later, I mean, it's been a few years. It's just, I think, approaching 10,000.
It's at 10,000 right now. I'm on it. Yeah.
So check it. This is why. And think about it. Consider how many covers of something are on YouTube, right? If they had to pay Harris Songs Publishing, which is George Harrison's estate, for every single cover of something, not just mine, but all the covers on, it'd break them.
Sure.
And then, you know, multiply that out exponentially for all the covers of all the songs. Like, how many covers of, like, You Give Love a Bad Name by Bon Jovi? How many covers of the Whitney Houston Bodyguard theme? You know? And they have to pay all that publishing, so what they do is they yank your plays. Yeah. So I'm just saying, and this is the drag about it, because when you're shopping a record deal or a management deal, or even your fans are looking at your page, oh man, this guy's not happy. He's only got 4,000 followers.
Exactly.
But you guys got to all realize the sub counts, the followers counts are all total horse shit.
Yeah.
1,000%. The plays, how many plays your video has, are bullshit. They're not accurate, and we all got to stop judging each other by how many followers. And you know, there's on top of that, there's the services where people can buy followers and buy plays on YouTube, right?
But that's exactly because they're controlling who's popular, right? They're controlling, because that's how people. We can't change it. That's how people look at it. Like, oh, they'll come to this channel and be like, oh, this can't be real. It only has 1,000 views. If this was something, people would actually watch this video. It has 50 likes and 1,000 views and 2 comments. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, dude, and it's so frustrating because, you know, I'm doing this. You're doing this to get your message out there. I'm doing music because I want people to hear my music. And I'm pretty sure they're hearing it. You know, it's not being reflected in the subs and followers and that, because if there's a list, I'm on it and you're on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. And I literally almost daily or week, you know, how can I finding this? Who knows where this list is? How can I get off this list, man? What am I going to do
maybe you
to
can't
ever get followers on?
And it will only get worse with time as we go more and more digital. Again, the most costly thing that I've ever done in my life was go out to Oklahoma City and then out to Buffalo and New York. By the time I got done with those things, which was a lot of hard work, driving back and forth all across the nation, by the time I was done with that, I had effectively cut all of my revenue exactly in half. And it's never gone back up. They've kept it right there at the half. So hard work doesn't pay off in social media when they hate you.
It's all manipulated, and we're on the list, bro. It's a big club, and we ain't in it.
Yeah, yeah. But I'll never sell out, and I'll stay on point with the message. But I maybe both of us need to figure out if there's a better way we can play the game to get our work out there, so, if it's possible.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it myself. As you're talking, I'm like, should I start doing guitar lessons? And then you're like, well, it's got to be very specific. I'm like, well, I don't just want to do one genre of guitar lesson. I don't want to just teach heavy metal, or I just don't want to teach flamenco or this. I want to teach all styles and all, you know, a holistic approach.
Jeff, maybe that's it, though. Maybe that's what you actually do. Because Megadeth, people are into Megadeth. You're the guitarist for Megadeth. You just focus on that with your YouTube channel, driving that, and then at the end of your video, say, "Hey, listen, I do all these other kinds too. Come sign up for my Patreon or wherever you're putting it."
Teach all people the licks from the Megadeth tunes.
Exactly.
How to play note for note. Well, I learned all this stuff for Kings of Thrash. That'd be another good way to put this work that I put into use.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to curtail my Kings of Thrash touring because my own band is starting to take off. We played at NAMM. I got inducted in the Metal Hall of Fame, and my band got to play and my own songs. And I'll tell you, there's nothing like playing your own songs when you've been playing other people's songs and building someone else's brand. You know, in my 20s, I built Mustaine's brand and Megadeth's brand. And in my 30s, you know, Baji and the Brazilian Project. And it was the best feeling. That was literally at NAMM this year, the first time with a full band. I've done it with tracks, you know, tracks off my new record that's coming out and solo. But, you know, I got a second gal guitarist who's super hot, Russian gal. And I had Joe Satriani's drummer and the bass player from Bow Wow Wow. And we just killed it at NAMM. And I said, this is having that feeling. I don't want to play Dave Mustaine's tunes any longer than I have to.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But with that being said, people check out kingsofthrash.com because Kings of Thrash we're touring. We got some SoCal dates in September. We got East Coast dates in October, and I think we're even doing Florida. Those dates aren't out yet. And Jeff Young Group, we're doing Vegas. Any of my Vegas listeners, let's see some Truth Seekers at Backstage Bar and Billiards July 18th on Fremont Street. And that should be killer. And I'm playing on the Queen Mary May 31st. Kind of a strange, cool event. So if you want to go rock out on the Queen Mary, that's where we'll be. And dudes, people follow me. Let's check it out and put it to the test. I'm so close to 4,000 on Instagram. I don't believe I'm ever going to get above it.
Here,
every time I get close to it, I get knocked back down. Jeff Young Guitar. And dude, are you not on Instagram?
I'm going to see if I can even log into my Instagram.
You should have been on that instead of Twitter or X or whatever the S. Because there's some really cool truth people, and they're putting stuff out, and they're not getting censored on Instagram. And Instagram's really where all the youth and the younger people, and I've actually even got players on my record that are Instagram kind of sensations. Just for that reason, I'm like, shit, I'm going to get some other people who have millions of followers to help bring, you know, their followers. I'll just assume their followers once they come hear my stuff.
Okay. I was not following you on Instagram, but I just now followed you. And you are almost to 4,000. I'm dropping Jeff's Instagram in the chat. He needs 85 to get to 4,000, and we'll see if this is some game they're playing.
Yeah, and I was literally like, I was like 20 away. I was like literally right at 4,000 a few months ago, and I woke up and they yacked me.
Yeah, I've
you
gone through that
fuckers, man. You fuckers.
Isn't it funny you're in the Metal Hall of Fame, but you can't get 4,000 Instagram followers? Come on, man. That's impossible.
Yeah, dude, I'm totally blackballed. I know it. So what else they got in store for me when my birthday's 3/31?
Yeah. You never know, man. Ugh.
That's a number they would fake. They'd kill to have that natural birthday organically. A lot of actors would fake and take a birthday like that just to get those numbers.
Sure.
So yeah, dude, but I don't take it back having you on my show and all this stuff, even if I'm forever blackballed. Because shit, the Prince thing we did is historic, and all the stuff we uncovered, no one else on this planet did it but you and me. From you telling him to watch his back, and 67 days later, the Cats exit stage left in an elevator to, you know, I still have the screen cap. I literally just Googled, you know, we couldn't figure out why they turned Niagara Falls purple.
Yeah.
And how were they ready to do it so fast?
Yeah.
Right? How they did it so fast. And I literally just typed in Google. And even as corrupt as Google is, I just typed in, where was Denise Matthews, a.k.a. Vanity Born? I still have, if you guys go on Facebook, Music Without Boundaries, they struck my episodes because of, you know, I was playing all the music of all these bands and not paying any publishing. For 11 years, I got away with it. But I still have that episode somewhere. So I'll upload it on YouTube. And but there's a photo album. If you go on Music Without Boundaries on Facebook and go in the photo albums, there's a couple that are killer. There's one that's called The Music Business is Whack Yo. And that, if a picture says 1,000 words, take a look through the thousands of pictures I assembled. You could never get away with posting that content on Facebook today. It's only there because it was posted years ago. And then there's a Prince album that has all the stuff Zach and I uncovered, from, you know, the I Would Die 421 to the, you know, Turning Niagara Falls Purple and Where Was Denise and Matthews Born? Oh, Niagara Falls, whoops. And then the Purple Rain beer that they unveiled in the UK on the day Prince died, spelling it REIGN, like the reign of a queen, because the Queen of England's birthday is 421.
Right.
And Whack is, and who just died from 421 just now?
The Pope. And Prince has a song about the Pope.
Yes, dude, shit, that's so real. And it's so raw. If people don't get that connection, just those three, Prince, the Queen, and the Pope, all in the same day. Come on now. That's even better than the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, and the queen of soul, Aretha Franklin, dying on the same day, a few years apart.
Yep. Yep.
All right. So thanks, people, for following me on Instagram and subbing my YouTube. Watch it for the next year. You'll see I'll never get above 4,000 no matter what I do. And I'm about to drop 2 music videos. I got a song in a new horror movie called Return to Fear, this new Disney horror flick. We shot the video. It's awesome, people. It's going to be a big year, just not for my followers.
Jeff, you might want to try that strategy, though. You might just want to set up a new YouTube channel and call it like Megadeth Riffs with Jeff Young or something like that. And I mean, you got all the clout. You're the guitarist from the band. And again, just even though that's not exactly what you want to do, at the end of your videos, you can say, hey, by the way, I specialize in all kinds of guitar besides just Megadeth. And here's where you can get lessons.
Do I have to set up a new channel, or can I just start doing videos on that channel?
They said it's better. From what I've been doing a lot of research about how to get your YouTube channel to work, and they said it's better to launch a fresh new channel. So,
Jesus, I guess at the end of every one of those, I could give the link to my original channel that's on my music.
Exactly,
videos.
And you could make hundreds of videos on there. Hundreds of videos.
Well, I know how to play all the Megadeth.
That's what I mean.
And all the solos from Poland, the Mustaine, the Friedman, and my own. So.
And by the way,
Megadeth fans, beware, and Bolo, be on the lookout, because I may just be. That's a good idea, Zach.
And here's the other thing, Jeff.
But see, this is the problem. I don't want to think about Megadeth. This is the worst. It's like a curse, man. It's been a blessing and a curse.
Well.
I don't want to think about Megadeth. I don't want to think about the riffs, the demonic riffs, the demonic lyrics. I don't want to think about Dave Shitstein or any of it. But here, is that what I have to do to get YouTube views?
I think it
subs,
is.
Really?
I think it is.
Is that how low? Yeah, and my response to that is, only in a world this fucked up is that what I would have to resort to when my music is as good as it is, man. Go to my YouTube channel, listen to Monsoon, people. Go down the comments and read the comments on Monsoon. One of the originals on my new album, are In the Flesh.
Well, just look at it as the gateway to get people where you want them to be. Again, on your where you get them to, you can do whatever you want. But to get people there, you got to exploit the Megadeth thing. So,
yeah. But as we know, just like how numbers can raise or lower people's energy, it's like phonics, and that's what I don't think people get about the gematria is that. And we've all heard that word phonics, right?
Sure. Hooked on phonics.
Just how with music, just with music, how you can play a certain key, like the joke in the Spinal Tap movie when Nigel Tufnell's at the piano and he's playing, and Rob Reiner's like, "Oh, that's beautiful." And he's like, "Oh, yes, that's a little piece I've been working on, and it's in D minor, the saddest of all keys." He's like, "Yeah." What's the song called? Lick My Love Pump. But I digress. You can make people feel with notes and and certain song keys and modes and how you write, you can make them have specific feelings. That's the same thing they're doing with language and gematria. Like when they said toilet paper,
Right.
it's a phonics thing. It's a spelling thing. It's a spell. It's like a hypnotist. When he snaps his fingers and the person goes out, they just have to say toilet paper. And even though everyone with a sane brain knows that's not even in the top 20 survival supplies that you would need, y'all still ran out and bought the stuff. Just like magic.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So my point being is, like, when I play the Megadeth, it lowers my frequency. That music, it lowers your frequency. It's consider the source, right? Who wrote it? You know, it comes from a demonic being.
Well, yeah, if you want it to be about that, you can after you play the riff and teach them how to do it. You can say, I don't think it's going to hurt the channel if you just go into what you really want to say about it. Might even make it all the more interesting.
Yeah. Meanwhile, as we just last week, I attended the premiere of the Nick Menza documentary. The movie.
R.I.P.
It's all about Nick's life, and I don't even know how many Megadeth fans realize how he died live on stage at the Baked Potato in Studio City, California, playing with Chris Poland, the original Megadeth guitarist, in a power trio called Ohm, O-H-M. There were 4 songs into the set. Chris said Nick was playing like a man possessed. Like Chris was having to pick harder on his guitar just to keep up. He was looking over like, what the fuck? This guy's he's just killing it tonight. 4 songs in, he just put his drumsticks on the drum and just fell right into the monitor.
And somebody else had died at that same club. Was it almost a year to the day?
Dude, it's the same drummer from the same band that Nick replaced.
Yeah, that's crazy.
David Eagle.
Yeah.
The original drummer. This is a trip. Calculate the odds, my friends, if you will. And no Megadeth fans, but again, this is how far the pieces, they're not even falling that far apart, but because people don't really know Ohm and what, Chris did after Megadeth, most people don't. He's got this little jazz fusion trio. And the original drummer was David Eagle, remember? The Freemasonic Eagle, right? So he also had a heart attack on stage at the Baked Potato and died. Same trip as Nick. He lived on life support, I think, a little. He didn't just die DOA like Nick did. But just literally, what are the chances? And then you got to realize Megadeth was nominated for a Grammy 12 years and lost. And then on their 13th nomination, right after Nick's untimely passing, they won a Grammy. Number 13.
Yeah, crazy.
I'm just saying, I'm not putting any accusations. It's just for entertainment purposes only.
By the way, Jeff, if I'm not mistaken, I think you might have just turned 63. I'm looking at my post on his death. His death had a lot to do with 63. Megadeth has that gematria 63. So maybe it's the fitting year to rebuild your YouTube on the Megadeth riffs, even though it's not exactly what you want to do.
Yeah. Coming soon. Yeah, I mean, I went on to all this trouble to learn all these tunes again. I never thought I'd have to be playing Megadeth tunes again, this much later in my life, and going back and, pouring all over the songs and dissecting and get them note for note. But now that I put in all that work, it would be a no-brainer. Be a no-brainer, my man. So good idea, and Megadeth fans unite. Watch out for my new channel.
There you go. Yeah, maybe also, Jeff, not to put paranoia in it, but maybe watch your 6 too, because I'm looking at how he died 63 days from his birthday. I'm like, man, they better not be targeting you, because we know you and Mustaine aren't friends. But
yeah,
don't play at the Baked Potato.
No, I wouldn't go in that club. I don't even like going to Hollywood or LA anymore. I can't stand. And right now, dude, I'm kind of off the grid. I'm 30 minutes, kind of 30, 40 minutes outside Las Vegas. And if people want to Google the area, it's called Tule Springs Fossil Reserve. I'm not in the actual, I mean, it's a little city, but we're kind of where we live is in a vortex. This property is a vortex. I live with a couple roommates, a gal pal of mine and her boyfriend, he's like a country music. His dad was a Canadian country music legend. Funny, we're talking about Canada a lot. And so the son who owns this house is the guitarist, singer, drummer, and my gal pal dates him. And so we're all roommates. And so I'm kind of off the grid. We got a well water even, which I like. So they'll have to find me first, right? But I do have, we got these tours. We got these tours, and it starts on the East Coast, bro. I'm not flying. I told Elfson already. I go, dude, have you heard how many plane crashes have happened already just this year? And when I told him over 1,000, he flipped out. I go, I ain't flying back there. I'm going to leave early. I'm driving. Yeah. And luckily the tour ends in Columbus, Ohio. So I'm going to, and I'm from Dayton. So I'll drive back there and join the tour bus wherever and end up in Columbus. And then I'll go hang in Dayton for a spell and then drive back out this way because I ain't flying this year.
Yeah, that could
That's
be
a good
call.
way to bring that 63. Yeah, that'd be bringing my 63 to some unfortunate fruition that I ain't going out that way.
No.
I never like flying when you tour anyway. Even when I was touring with Baji and the Brazilian Project, I really learned my lesson, and we tried to tour by ground if at all possible. Because once you turn your day and your life over to and your baggage and shit over to the airlines, you're fucked. Your day, your week, your life is gonna get fucked. True.
Yeah, I don't like traveling by. I don't like going in the airport at all. I mean, ever since September 11th, they've made it a humiliation ritual. It's just all of us should stop flying and boycott. I wish people would.
So that's all I got tonight. Thanks for helping me with my experiment, people, seeing if we can ever get me above 4,000. I just think it's so weird that the number on both pages is so close together.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that is
It's
interesting.
not like they're 5,000 apart or one's got a ton and one's got a little. They're both capped at the same number.
Yeah. Yeah, what is up with that?
And people out here, they're listening who do cover tunes and wondering why your views blow. I just told you with the Beatles example. They're not going to pay these publishing companies for all the covers that we're all doing on YouTube. And like someone like Don Henley is the douchebag of all douchebags. He employs a room of 60 people. All they do is copyright strike Eagles covers.
Oh my God. That's like what? It is pathetic.
No, dude, I tried to post, like Sherry, my ex, and I, when we toured, we did One of These Nights. Great tune by the Eagles.
Yeah.
I tried to post none of the lyrics, literally just the guitar solo, because I do the guitar solo, I note for note, like, not Glenn Fry, what's the other kid? Don Felder, play this solo. So I do it note for note, right? And so I wanted to post just that for people to see just the solo, because I played with Don Felder's bass player, and he said Don would be proud, and he's going to go tell him that I did the solo. So I posted just the solo, so maybe there was like the last word of the chorus into the solo, and within 60 seconds of posting it, it was struck.
Yeah, that's lame. For the
That's
record,
how fast those fuckers got it down.
that is really lame. For the record, I that is my favorite Eagles song, by the way. One of These Nights. So, yeah,
So just the bass at the beginning. Yeah, and you can go online, just search Don Henley talking about copyright striking, and you can see what an a-hole he is. Nobody, even people in the industry, nobody likes him. He's an a-hole, but he's the very worst at that. So
yeah.
everywhere you've got everything in between. As long as you're doing cover tunes, you've got Don Henley at one extreme, and then even if you do something like the Beatles, something, or Here Comes the Sun or something, they're not gonna you're not going to have accurate plays. So I'm just saying, when you go look at my YouTube or your favorite band or artist YouTube, whether the plays are high or low, they're bullshit.
Well, if you don't want to do the if you don't want to do the Megadeth riff channels, maybe you could just make a channel venting about what a douchebag Don Henley is, because I'm realizing this is a topic that gets views. I'm looking at all the views on this topic: 1.5 million views, 132,000 views.
Isn't it nuts?
Huh?
Maybe that's the ticket. I'm just going to create a channel talking about Don Henley and what a douchebag he is, and just the copyright. We could create a whole channel just about censorship.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be the big middle finger to YouTube? That would be our niche. That would be our niche. And by the way, it's niche.
I always thought it was niche. Everybody's saying
Whole
niche
life
now.
back from the old days. But maybe it's a Mandela effect thing.
Something like that, because everybody and their mom's saying niche. I'm like, niche? Man, this word was niche when I was coming up.
I mean, in French, it would be French. It would be niche.
Sure.
In French, if you want to be a little classier. Like you say tomato, I say tomato. You say gematria, I say gematria.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, you can think of the channel name, or maybe you want to do 2 exclusive channels and see which one takes off faster. But you really might want to milk the Megadeth thing, even if you don't want to, because I think it could be the ticket to getting some big numbers and then getting people to where you really want them to, your guitar
I was
lessons.
even thinking of doing. Yeah, I was thinking of doing a song book about it. You know, the same thing. All the songs that I know, transcribed note for note. I'll do it. I'll do the channel. God damn it.
Yeah.
So
Megadeth has a big following, even though, Megadeth, you see it
Mhm.
on bumper stickers all the time. I mean, Megadeth's out there. So,
Dude, it's like Tide soap. It's a huge brand.
Yeah.
It's a huge brand.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, it's still serving me. I was in that band of the long line of musicians that have had to endure shit stain. I was in there probably the shortest of any of the guitars, but still all these years later, it's like I left last week. And that's what happens that's how we're doing the Kings of Thrash thing. I mean, when you're associated with a brand, I don't want to say typecasting, but it kind of is like that, you know. Once you're associated with it, it does serve you well. So it gets you in the door anyway.
Exactly.
But unfortunately, I still ain't in that club, man. I still ain't in the club.
Well, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah. So hopefully I'll get through 63 effortlessly, because everyone's telling me this is my year. I got my albums almost done, a couple videos dropping. The Kings of Thrash people's dropping on, by the way. I got a date. I can tell you, we're not starting to put it out there. You guys hear it here first, because we're only starting to promote May 1st. It's dropping. Our first original is called Lockdown. Oh, this is killer that we're telling it right here. People, the first Kings of Thrash song is called Lockdown, and we're spitting truth in the song. Chaz wrote it, and I got to say, man, he wasn't awake at all when he started playing with me. And to see him write these lyrics about the scamdemic and the lockdown, it's our first single, and it's premiering. I think it's going to be on the Cleopatra Records website, which, funny enough, Cleopatra's logo is all seeing eye, like Egyptian style. It's not like the modern. It's like the old Egyptian kind of all seeing eye is. And this guy who's the CEO, he's totally oblivious. There's no way he's smart enough to know to even use that. I think he just uses it because, like, this is the thing. When people are brainwashed, they just start doing this. Like, have you seen how many girls have tattooed Baphomet on their bodies?
No, but it doesn't
And
surprise
none
me.
of them realize they don't know what they're doing. Like, in your news feed, they're everywhere, man. Chicks with Baphomet on their thighs, on their breasts, on their stomachs, on their backs. They're just doing it because it's a fad, just like all the people going tranny and gay. That's what brand is.
Yeah, a lot of copycats out there.
Unfortunately, but we do have a song dropping on the Cleopatra Records website on May 15th. It's a music video. It's super cool. I got some really long guitar solo action, and I shredded it up for you people in the tune. Kind of punky, kind of thrashy. It's definitely old school. I think all you guys will like it. So May 15th, Kings of Thrash, Lockdown. And you wanted a band speaking truth to power, Zach, remember? You said we could write some lyrics and all that. Here it is. We're dropping it.
All right.
On a
I'll
major
definitely support
label.
it. I'll definitely support it, Jeff.
Yeah.
All right, friend.
All right.
All right,
With
keep us
that, have a
posted.
good night, people. Thanks for listening.
All right.
Ciao.
Yeah, take care, Jeff. Have a good night. Yeah, he could definitely stick to the niche, even though he can't stand the band anymore. I feel like that. How could that not be successful? How could a former guitarist of Megadeth doing Megadeth licks and riffs not take off? Open up. Thank you for blocking the David guy. I don't know if he was a troll or just like it's like, dude, we're having a conversation. Listen to the stream, and if you want to ask something, call in once the line's open. Let's go out to Cleveland. What's up, 216? 216? Hello?
Hey, Zach, what's going on tonight? How you doing, man?
Doing all right. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thank you.
Good. Hey, you know what? This is actually really nice. I was just thinking about this earlier. You just had Jeff Young on, and you guys were having a conversation about a month or so ago about Jeff Young watching the Cleveland Guardians manager's house out in Arizona, and he said he was going to kind of go into some details on that. And I wish I was going to call you actually before he called in and kind of bring that up. And it's kind of ironic that he called you and now I'm getting through to you. And I was wondering, did you guys ever follow up on that? You know what the conversation I'm talking about?
Yeah, it was a while back, and I've been bad because Jeff has called me a few times, and I didn't have the phone on, and there hasn't been enough hours in a day over here. I haven't been trying to ignore Jeff, but we do need to have that stream and have that conversation that he brought up. So I should have brought it up tonight.
Yeah.
He'll call back in, though. He'll call back in.
But you don't know what he was alluding to when he was talking about that, right?
I didn't have any more information than you did, just what he said on the stream.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if maybe you guys had talked off the air or something like that or whatever. I'm just curious because I'm obviously sitting here in Cleveland, which Cleveland's got some strange vibrations going on with it right now. I had this feeling, just not even having to use gematria, that Sanders was going to end up in Cleveland. And I even told my buddies we're kind of like, keeping an eye on the draft. And I said, watch if we don't get this guy at 144. And sure enough, it happened.
His dad's born on the day, leaving 144 days left in the year, August 9th. Yeah.
Right. And then didn't you say there was something like his birthday was 78 days before he got drafted or something like that? I know there was some sort of 78 connection.
Yeah, Cleveland equals 78.
Cleveland and gematria.
Yeah, Cleveland equals 78. Yep. He got drafted 78 days after his birthday, and next year's going to be the Browns' 78th season. And they're doing all this stuff with Trump in 78, who's the new Grover Cleveland, who had his convention there in 2016.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, if there's I'm sure there's a lot of sports fans out there listening. I wouldn't go run into the casino and put your money on the Browns to do anything this year because I think the Browns, when they left Cleveland back in the 90s and then came back in the late 90s, were set up to fail.
You might want to look at that other Ohio team. You might want to take a good look at that other Ohio team, though, for Super Bowl 60. Bengals equals 60, and the Super Bowl is 60 days after Joe Burrow's birthday. So we're going to keep an eye. And by the way, who did Jalen Hurts just get married to? Bly Burrow? And, a couple months back after the Super Bowl ended, I was speculating how that might be the next Super Bowl, the Eagles and the Bengals. And now you got Jalen Hurts in the headlines getting married to Bly Burrow on the 112th day of the year when Super Bowl equals 112. So I'm going to watch the storyline through the offseason and see if the narrative builds. But it's an idea that's brewing right now. We'll see.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, there's some legs to it. And you were talking with a Canadian listener earlier tonight, and he had mentioned something about one of these two possible candidates wearing an Oilers jersey. And I'm listening to you guys have this conversation. And wouldn't you know it, the Oilers score an improbable goal late in the third period to tie it up against the Kings, and then score an improbable goal on a power play to win the game. So they were losing the series 2-0. Now they're tied, and I have no doubt that Edmonton's going to come back and win this series, and I think they're going to march towards the cup.
Yeah. Wayne, you got to love it. Two Wayne Gretzky teams facing each other to start the Stanley Cup playoffs. And
for the fourth year in a row.
Yeah. And people don't catch on to these things, but Yeah.
And it's been 32 years since a Canadian team has won the Cup, and wasn't it 32 years when the Dodgers beat the Rays to win the World Series?
The 32 sun rays on the Jesuit Orders logo. Yeah, Dodgers end the 32-year drought versus
Bingo.
the Rays. So America equals
Exactly.
32.
Exactly.
America's had the reign for 32
Yeah.
years. And that was the thing too that we loved
Yeah.
about the thing the NHL did for the Four Nations face-off for their All-Star game. We knew from the beginning it was obvious it was going to be
Mhm.
U.S. versus Canada with everything going on, but Canada beat
Oh,
the
absolutely.
U.S. Canada beat the U.S. in the championship on the 51st day of the year, essentially saying we're not becoming the 51st state.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and even that first game that they played against each other when they had all those fights, they kept emphasizing 3 fights in 9 seconds. You know, I mean, they just had to keep pushing those 2 numbers on you, and it just watching it as a casual fan, it just felt the whole thing felt so scripted. I mean, you don't even have to know anything about gematria or numbers to watch that, and it just felt like you were watching a WWE wrestling match.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was
Because
due to
you
full
are.
ratings.
Because you
Yeah.
are. So
That's all it is. Exactly. It's all scripted. So, all right, Jack. Well, I just wanted to touch base because, like I said, I heard you talking to Jeff Young, and I remember he brought up that conversation about the Guardians manager, and of course, living in Cleveland, that caught my attention. And so, hopefully, sometime he'll be able to come back on with you and kind of elaborate a little bit further about that. But hey, take care, and keep taking care of that young child of yours, and raise her the right way, like we all know you will.
appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, take care, man. See ya.
You have a good night. All right, we're getting near the time to wrap up. If you guys do want to phone in, now is the time. Shout out to the people who donated during this stream. Run your pockets. Yes, sir. LaDonna Franklin. Mason, who had a baby girl. Mason, I told you to save your money, but thank you for letting me know that your daughter was born. I was just thinking about you. You know, Mason, I feel bad every time I go on these religious rants because I know you are religious. If you can just close your ears when I'm ranting about religion, you're all right by me. And by the way, for everybody out there that follows my streams who's religious, I really don't like religion, and I do think it's the plague of the earth, but it doesn't mean I necessarily don't like you. So you're just going to have to plug your ears sometimes around this channel. Vandera, thank you. Rablanto, thank you. Big donor for the stream. 20 big ones from Rablanto. Sigma Chef said, I just joined the sports Patreon. Is there any information on how to best apply the information you dish out? I'm not as familiar with sports betting, but have done it before with apps. Again, and if you're asking like where to place bets, that's a state-by-state thing because certain things are legal in certain states. But just being part of the community and being in the live streams, since you donated $10, I imagine you're on the $11 tier, so you should be in the live streams. Communicate with the people in the chat. There's people from your neck of the woods, no doubt. There's a lot of people in there every day. Or just call into the stream. So that's a call for the stream, for the sports stream. John Mendoza said that troll that called in needs some ass. Yes, sir. Yeah, indeed. I appreciate the 214, the number of the week. Did you see what happened to that poor player drafted by the Steelers, went to a Jesuit high school, drafted by the Jesuit Rooney family, and then his mom dies right after? His name equaled 214, the number of the week after what they did with the Pope on 214. Lil Ink says, haven't been around much, started a new job. Keep up the great work, man. Well, thank you for sharing some of your hard-earned money, and thanks for coming back despite having the limited time. Yeah, I think we can wrap this stream up if we don't have any more callers. We just eclipsed the 2-hour mark. Again, if there's anybody else that wanted to get in on things that were brought up that were the topic of the stream, how you guys felt about the idea of bringing back a daily sports show for the public. We've been doing a daily sports show every day, 24/7, 360. Well, I guess not 24 hours a day, but every single day, 365 for a long time on Patreon. I've taken some breaks since 2018, but we've been going every day for years. But yeah, maybe we should bring it back a free public open stream. Again, some of you guys really don't like the sports content, but the majority of people do, and really the most loyal people in this community did come in through the sports. And at the same time, as I've said, this community needs to build resources to make things happen. And the only thing that's proven to build resources really is the sports decoding. So But yeah, daily sports recap, nightly show. And do the news by the numbers, number games, but make it all focused on Trump since you got to have a niche or a niche. What's up, 772?
Hello?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, Zach. A few things. I've been researching the Jesuits a lot ever since I quit. And something interesting. I've been looking into like their early history. So the first pope is who they say that Peter the Apostle, Saint Peter, was the first pope. Saint Peter is 46, just like Catholics.
Yeah, indeed.
Also, I noticed one of their symbols is the wolf. It's actually the mascot for a lot of their schools. Last 3 of their schools have a wolf as the logo. Wolf equals 56 and 52, just like Pope. Also, the Fabian Society, if you look, the logo is for that. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing, and that symbol is actually symbolic to the Jesuits. The wolf is important to them. One of the symbols for one of the Jesuit families, I forgot which one, but
the Fabian Society is an offshoot of the Jesuits, and Orwell was a member of the Fabian Society, and it's why he had such an insight. And you can start to understand why the first number in his first book, Burmese Days, has a 56 right at the beginning. And again, the Fabian Society was established in 1884, like Jesuit and the Jesuit Orders 84. And of course, his famous book, 1984, is the 100th year of the Fabian Society. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So the one of the other Jesuit symbols is the wolf around the 2 wolves around a cauldron. So it's a pretty important symbol to them. Also, cauldron's 47. But another story that's been going around is a lot of the media, they've been saying that the leftists have created a new slogan to counter MAGA, and they're calling it dark woke, and dark woke is 88 and 47, just like Trump.
Interesting. Yeah, that is quite interesting. All right.
And also just one more thing, on the Carmelo Anthony thing, some outlets are reporting that he didn't stab him with a knife, that he stabbed him with a cleat sharpener, which is 64 in the most pure cipher. That's all I had.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, good catch. All right, buddy, appreciate it.
All right, good night, bye.
All right, and somebody reminded me that I was going to play the Eddington clip again, so yes, I will do that right now, and then we'll wrap it up. And for the question in the chat about are we doing the Derby, of course we're doing the Kentucky Derby. Maybe I'll just take your pick since you've been using my notes and coming to the right conclusion in recent years. I haven't had confidence correctly in the winner since Medina Spirit. We've hit the Derby winner a lot. For people who haven't been around, the last 2 Triple Crowns that happened, we were on the Triple Crown horse before it won a single race. And we had those Triple Crowns called out. The last one was the year of the 144th edition of the Derby, and Triple Crown equals 144. The horse before that was American Pharaoh, and they had it all synced with Oh Bummer. But yeah, the Derby is this weekend, May 3rd. May 3rd, it's coming up. Okay, this Eddington trailer, you guys, you got to listen carefully. It's very obvious in the opening seconds that it's the thing I said over and over 1,000 times. Again, you're going to hear about this Pete about 1956 and the Wuhan lab and Tom Hanks. And again, from the pandemic being declared to this movie coming out, it's 1956 days. But if you listen carefully, the opening voice at the beginning plays in the background through the entire trailer with other noise over the top of it. If you listen carefully, right at the 20-second mark, that's when you can hear it say, gematria is the ancient practice of coding numbers into words. But it's in the background with another voice talking about coincidence over the top. So here, I'll put this on, and we'll close it out with this one more time.
Of course, they keep looking at that lab in Wuhan, China. If you look at that lab in Wuhan when that was established, it was 1956. Of course, that was the year Tom Hanks was born, the first celebrity with the virus, Mr. Sleepless in Seattle.
If you value your life, you should think twice.
In the world outside
because the people of Eddington like guns.
Your pain is not a coincidence. You are not a coincidence. We
If you're listening carefully, perhaps you can hear that. You might need to pull up this trailer yourself. Eddington. E is an elephant, D is in David, D is in David, Ington. Eddington. It's going to premiere at Cannes Film Festival in France in the Jesuit stronghold on the last day of Cannes, the 144th day of the year, like Jesuit order. It'll release on July 18th, like 18/7, like Paris, France, like Society of Jesus, both 187. And funny enough, that's 3 days before my 42nd birthday. But here, I'm just going to rewind a few seconds. I rewound it 18 seconds. So in 2 seconds, if you're listening carefully, you can hear in the background, gematria is the ancient practice, kind numbers and words. Again, it's the quote playing through the whole background. It's all about the 56 and the pandemic and all the 56 rituals. The same things I said over and over. The same things I wrote a book about. And just in the beginning, how the character refers to Tom Hanks as Mr. Sleepless in Seattle. That's what I constantly called him during the time of the scandemic. It's obvious that they just totally ripped off my dialogue from a YouTube video. It's comical, really. I want my royalties.
Guns.
Your pain is not a coincidence. You are not a coincidence. We are not a coincidence.
And I am speaking now to deny my husband's announcement yesterday, which was false.
Eddington, New Mexico, despite its meager population, is quickly being co-opted in online circles. I'm ready to continue leading our...
Can you hear how in the back the voice just keeps running through the background? So I've asked somebody out there. I know people have been trying to do it. They say it's very difficult to do because it's 2 layers of audio on top of each other. But I'm sure when the movie comes out, that we'll see the scene in the movie where probably everything playing behind the trailer's there. I just want to see how it's put out in the movie. And by the way, what this movie's about is it is set in the time of the pandemic, and it's about how it sounds like how a mayor who's conspiratorial makes a civil war break out in his community. Anyway, here, I'll finish playing the rest of the trailer.
And fighting the pandemic and the racial and economic...
All right, Eddington. And again, the guy who's making that movie is the same guy who did the film Hereditary. Again, I was saying this the other night that I think this is how I got on his radar, because I did videos breaking down both of his big movies, Hereditary and Midsummer, because they both have to do with the occult and ritual human sacrifice. And if you look at the dates the movies came out, this is pretty much true for all of Hollywood, but they're gematria perfect. So I have a feeling that he saw my videos about his movies, and it must have got him halfway interested. So, well, maybe more than halfway interested if he made a movie seemingly paying tribute to it. But yeah, we will leave it there for now. And again, for all you guys who do want the Derby, yeah, that's coming. We always do the Derby. So, Derby this weekend. Back on the slave grind. All right, again, thank you to everyone who hits the like and the share. Thank you to the people who were generous and donated tonight. And we'll leave it there for now. Until next time, Truth Seeker.